We'll have to see if Yangon will kind of dip into just position 5 Void. Maybe they're trying to bait in Boom to kind of assume it's +1.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. Could happen. +5 Void's always a... I don't know if you want to kind of experiment right now with a position 5 Void. Why the hell not, I guess, if you know what you're doing. We'll see. YG, third pickup now. Minute of reserve time left. I'm looking for lane dominant heroes right now. Right? Like, first step is to just at least even the lanes out. Like, don't get dominated in the laning stage, because that's just going to kind of set you off for a really bad game. I mean, that's not really a lane dominant hero, but maybe just a comfort pick for YG. They'll go for the Shaker. Boom Esports right back into the Aya. And the Sven this time around. So I'd say that's even scarier than the Gyrocopter, quite frankly.
It is. You could still just play the lane well, play with your cleave. You've got a good stun. Maybe not as a run and gun as a Gyrocopter, but certainly can be with a relocate. I think there's more emphasis on just being closer, but overall, you still have good timings to meet as a Sven. I'm keen to see what Palos builds, if he's actually just going to go back and repeat the Crystallis Rush. I think this time around an Echo Saber will probably be more beneficial. YG, they do get a stronger lane dominant support now. Winter Wyvern's out. This can punish the Sven with Winter's Curse. Cold Embrace will also block off a lot of the physical damage output that Boom Esports has on hand. So this does kind of give them some counterplay, give them some presence in lane that they can play with on the safe. So they can protect that Faceless Void pick now, try to give it more farm, give it space to hit level 6, and just try to run from there. I think that's one way to kind of get that draft working, right? It also plays in Chrono relatively well. You could use Winter's Curse to set up for Chrono. You could use the Curse after Chrono, just in case you didn't kill off all the targets, and it does kind of shape up in this playstyle that YG has formed with the draft.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Wyvern's fine. A bit off meta, but I think the hero still does the exact same thing that it used to anyway, so not too big of a deal. Definitely against the Sven, does a fantastic job. Final banouts to come. Boom Esports looking to maybe just get rid of some more mid laners, it seems, as they ban the Lina. Maybe just assuming maybe an offlane Leshrac is what we're looking at for YG. Offlane Lesh is a bit, it can be a bit funky. Not very stable, I'd say. Like a very high risk, high reward kind of offlane.
That it is. I think... You could run Shaker Core, Shaker offlane core, and Leshrac in the 4. You could also flex it that way if you're expecting a different mid here. I don't know if you should, but that is something you could do. You don't really see that too often. Probably not the way to go for YG. I think they're just gonna have to run that Leshrac lane and have something much more tempo setting on the offlane, right? Like the Brewmaster, it could have, but early on, without Ags, cooldown on the split is pretty long. In terms of lane, it was melee versus range. This time around, it should be melee. So if you did want Brewmaster, it could actually work out a bit more. I'd say something that pushes fast. I think plays with the Leshrac timings is going to be best. Boom, go with the OD. So is this...
That's a support invoker, I think.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, support invoker.
Yeah, maybe
support
it is.
OD?
No. I think support invoker, POS 3 Pango, maybe. It looks weird though. Like seeing Pango and POS 3 just doesn't look good to me anymore. Because it does
an FBC special though, right?
Right.
It's something he plays a lot of, so I think it's still a comfort pick for him.
Okay.
Let's go silly. If it's not support invoker, support OD on 4. Does that sound better?
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. So there you go. It should be offlane. Let me tell you, OD Ags is the most annoying thing anyone has to play against. It is so... It's not that it's super strong. It is strong. It's more annoying than anything. Because it's not like Ghost Form where you can still use spells in them. They're gone, but you still see them walk away. It tilts you. It's like, I almost had a kill, and he gets Astral Imprisoned twice, and he walks away. What is that?
I don't know, Jonathan. I don't know. YG, I don't know about this either. They've finished off their draft with the Void Spirit, so young PH going to jump on that. It's like we are going to have the
Oh.
offlane Leshrac, pos 1 Void here for Hao. And it is going to be an offlane OD. Mid Invoker. So I was right in the end, Jonathan. Turns out it's the pos 3 OD that we're looking for. I can't remember the last time I saw FBZ play position 3 OD, to be fair, so I'm not really 100% sure what to expect here, but, you know.
Think about it, though. Think about the lane. What will a Faceless Void do against Astral Imprisonment?
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm not
maybe
saying-
you time walk the first 2 levels.
I'm
but
not saying
down
FBZ
the
is going
line-
to lose, John. I'm saying I just don't know what to expect. Yeah, just because Boom Esports win doesn't mean the OD pos 3 was good, which is what my pub teammates have to understand, right? Is the pro players winning a match with these kind of heroes doesn't mean they should play it. We'll see. I mean, FBZ, he is an impressive player. We'll see how he does perform here on this pos 3 OD. I'm sure he's got a game plan up his sleeve. He did have last pick after all, so you'd kind of expect him to be very, you know, confident that this pos 3 OD has some value in this game.
I think the big thing the OD gives them is we were talking about counterplay for the chrono. Astral Imprisonment is now your counterplay. So if you see the chrono fly out and you have range, you're not caught, and it just Astral Imprison. It's done. You've ruined his chrono. You know, it just throws off that big spell. So we're gonna have to see if Hao can land the chronos he needs, catch out the OD, and hold his lane, because
So this whole mess is
classic
all your
pause.
fault?
Hold this lane against OD on off. The matchup doesn't sound good for Faceless Void, to be quite frank. Like, Imprisonment's gonna be annoying. 24-second cooldown at level 1, so it's not as bad. But your time walk's also at 24 seconds, so every time you time walk out, you know, it just forces you back every time, opens up more opportunities for the support to apply harassment, and just kind of go from there. I want to see FBZ go for the Ags build, just because, yeah, the Ags and the Shard. It was the Shard I was thinking of for the Astral Imprisonment. So the Shard is the most obnoxious thing you could play against. See, look at that specific statement in the parentheses, Mike. They are visible, but untargetable, and can't perform any other actions. They're untargetable. I couldn't stun them. I couldn't do anything. I could just watch them slowly walk away from me while I'm begging my team to kill them afterwards. And I can't because the OD has the Ags Scepter as well with a charge.
I'm sorry that happened to you, Jonathan. I really am. I would have been infuriated. I didn't even know that's what the Shards did. I'll be perfectly honest with you. It's new to me. I imagine it is very annoying, John. You shouldn't really be able to move during Astral Imprisonment. But apparently you can. There you go. You learn something new every day. And we'll see how Boom, we'll see how they make this work. Don't forget as well, OD recently got buffed, so now Arcane Orbs work on Roshan. So you can really kind of just delete Roshan now as OD.
Alright. That seemed like a very needed change for OD to make him viable. Just have him clear Roche fast.
No, it wasn't, John.
Keen to,
No, it wasn't.
30 seconds.
keen to see if that's something FBC wants. Right now, he does have the Meteor Hammer queued up, so it's the same thing. Astral Imprisonment into Hammer. Really good control, good damage. Still, YG, they're shaping up for a fight.
Yeah, play hard. The ward is out. Nice Fissure, but he has the shield crash to jump over that Fissure. You just saw the confidence from Play Hard. Like, most players would not want to walk up to a 5-man like that, but he walks in very confidently, gets the D ward off, and now they rush in for a team fight. Play Hard right in, a big shield crash. Stormhammer on Hal, gonna force him to time walk, but now they'll go onto Lon instead, but a big Fissure. Skillay may be able to turn this one around, as Play Hard does drop quite low, but everyone will back off and nobody will end up dropping.
Normally.
Yeah, it's a great start for Boom. All bounties going their way. So they managed to snag 4, not leaving anything for YG. Do you see the lanes break out? We are seeing Zalrain on the off-lane Lesh. He is going to be supported by Skillay on the Shaker. They are up against Palos and CTM on the Io and Sven this time around. So I think this is a lane that's much more playable for Zalrain. They've got chain stuns to play with. Fissure into Split Earth can kind of pay off. And they've got some presence, so it's not as rough as the Brewmaster lane where you were at a range disadvantage. You couldn't out-damage the sustain on the Io. This time around, once you get levels on the Lesh, you can burn through the Sven, and the Io early on shouldn't be able to do much about it, at least until more regen comes in.
Absolutely. Mid lane, of course, young PH again against Yopaj. For now, he should be able to have maybe a better time than say he had on the Tiny. trying to get some harass out onto Yopaj, but Yopaj is really giving him the harassment back on this Invoker. At least he is dominating CS on this Void Spirit, which is to be expected based on the hero matchup.
Yeah, and that's what you want to see for Young PH. Last time around, the Tiny, his blink timing, it was still decent considering his lane, but I think the Void Spirit's much easier to be aggressive with early on with just 1 or 2 items, so you need to see that coming out from his mid. Yopaj, though, his harassment is starting to pull Young PH back. The bottle is flying out. He's going to be able to sustain himself back, and of course for Yopaj, he's not a bottle hero. That is something the Void Spirit can abuse if he sees an opening.
Yeah. Play Hard almost goes down to top lane, but not quite. FBZ does end up going for the Arcane Orb. So it looks like he's going to maybe skip out the Astral, maybe get a value point for himself, or maybe max it out now, but at least for now he is enjoying just kind of spamming it against Hal. And it is a fair bit of damage, so you can't quite blame the man. Still, Hal can always, I guess he could always just time walk it off. Play Hard, it's going to be chased down, goes back for the shield crash, but may end up dying now as the time dilation. It slows him up, but he had the stick charges and again just gets out with his life intact.
Just very hard here to zone out that Pangolier. Shield crash, early damage reduction is just huge. If you manage to crash on even just 1 hero, it's pretty hard. And Lun is trying to zone out. He does not have the point in Splinter Blast, but he does have the Cold Embrace to kind of save Hao in case. Of course, that means the aggression coming through isn't going to be as high. Hao's lane is looking better than game 1, though. He is slightly ahead of FBZ and within range of Palo, so looking like a better start for YG already.
Yopaj still doing quite well in the mid lane, but Young PH is still leading in CS. So, I mean, Young PH, to be fair to him, last game around, he was probably the only player that didn't lose his lane. It was a very kind of even lane matchup between him and Yopaj. Doing a pretty darn nice job as he does jump in onto the Invoker, but Tornado EMP is going to fly out and he has no way to dodge. So we'll lose all his mana. Both heroes won't really mind too much as they're both quite low on mana. Again, it seems like both heroes right now just focusing on CS. I don't really think that Yopaj can kill Young PH, nor do I think Young PH can do that, can get the kill on the Invoker either. It's just all about hitting creeps at the moment. He might go for a rotation, but no, he's only level 4. He's just going to have to go back to the lane, I think.
Maybe just grab that Water Rune as well, so he's going to be fully topped up. And he could look to play, but without a rotation from the Earthshaker, you're not really going to be able to do anything. So, as you mentioned, just even farm for both sides here. The side lanes are where it really should be interesting. And you are at the level 3 point for a lot of these heroes. Zarain is at 4. He did go for the Split Earth and Lightning Storm build, but we're not seeing the openings come out with Fissure Split Earth. So Palace is still having a really good time farming up. Does opt to level Stormhammer twice over. So it's a level 2 Stormhammer, not focusing on the cleave yet. Does open up aggression down the line if someone does overstep.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Little courier snipe there by Skill Lane. Zorain did cop a Stormhammer there from Palos, but actually won't lead to much. It's just Palos being a little bit annoying there on the Sven. Trying to secure some CS there. Bomb just going splendidly for both teams. You are a little bit behind here on the Void, but that is to be expected. Like, it's a pretty hard lane here for Hal against the OD. Just never really fun. Looks like FBZ does end up going to max out the Astral Imprisonment after getting 1 point in the Q and E. So, you know, just going for that standard build up on the OD. Can't say I'm too surprised, and still going for the Meteor Hammer. This item, even though it's been nerfed and it doesn't feel so strong on the OD anymore, it is still quite necessary apparently.
Yeah, I'd say so. I think it's still impactful to have those chain stuns with the Astral Imprisonment, but also gives you push, which is something that, to an extent, Boom's lineup does lack. So at the least, if FBZ has nothing else to do, he could just shove in a lane, get a tower, and force a response out, buying more space out for the Sven. A rather slow start here in game number 2, 0-0 at 5 minutes in. The lanes are a lot more even for YG, so they're getting some space out to keep building that farm game up. You are still slightly ahead here on Boom in terms of CS and net worth. 1k lead, not much yet. Very slight. The CS is building up. Our Sven is still number 1 in CS. 28-4 compared to how it's 17-2. That is some cause of concern as Faceless Void, when it comes down to farming, it's almost the same thing with a Morphling. It doesn't quite keep up with the Sven in the same way. So as long as Palos is ahead, he'll stay ahead for the most part. The Mask of Madness being saved up for by our Sven. So the Flash Farm will kick into gear once that's up. They're going to have to find a way to kind of slow that down on YG's end.
I mean, it's going to be a little bit challenging, I think.
Japoy is my idol.
Chill, baby.
YG, I think they're not too interested in trying to... I think they're just trying to play their own game right now. That's what it feels like anyway. Yeah, maybe that's just the way to do it, is just, you know, concentrate on your own game and don't worry too much about what Boom Esports is doing. I mean, you know, Boom Esports is certainly going to be a problem no matter what. It's like Yopaj having a few ping issues. We'll go for another reconnection, and you know, to be fair, the SEA server John is quite unstable at times, so I'm not too surprised to see this happening. Yopaj has a particularly bad connection to the server. It happens a lot to him. These bad ping issues.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but it's part of life in Southeast Asia, as you would expect. So it drags on a bit, but it's all right. Just chill out. We did have a fast first game, so this kind of makes up for it, Mike.
It does, John. It does. See how long it does last. Gotta admit, I should have made that instant ramen when I had the chance. I'm actually quite hungry now, and it has just been sitting there. I'm quite curious to see how it does taste. My wife gave it a crack and said it was way too spicy for her. Doesn't do well with the chili. I personally think I'll have a great time. Yeah, I'll be fine, John. I can eat chili. Thank you very much, sir.
That's what I like to hear.
Yeah.
You know, we love to talk about food. I love my spicy food. I love my Indian food, which is always spicy. So I would be very displeased if you couldn't handle your spice, Mike. Casting is new. Gotta keep it spicy.
So still not much happening in this game. I mean, we're 5 minutes in, and it's still 0-0 right now. Yopaj, he's trying to go after Young PH. Both heroes quite low in terms of HP, and both will back off. Young PH, level 5, not quite at that level 6 mark yet with Yopaj. He has hit level 6 now. So there are going to be some rotations in Yopaj. Not going to instantly back off, and well, bot lane looks like a fight is breaking out as Skill Lane was trying to TP into the mid lane, but does have it cancelled off. And top lane, Playhard's also being chased down, and how he does get first blood as mid lane Young PH does end up dying eventually to Yopaj. Lun, he can't get the trade either. The Invoker is going to survive. So first blood to YG, but Young PH drops to Yopaj solo.
Yeah, that's a bit bigger for Boom. Just having that differential in the mid is a lot better. You're slowing down the Void Spirit. He needs his timings fast. He wants that fast 6 to be aggressive. A regen for Yopaj as well. Asking you shall receive can be set in the lane. And he just gets to go back in. Sure, the Void does get something, but he's being chased down now.
Yeah, he is. Playhard looking for that next shield crash. FBZ could not get in range for any more attacks with the Arcane Orb. Instead, Lun, feeling very charitable today, does decide he'll donate his body instead. FBZ will happily take the kill. In fact, Hal now getting involved as well. Playhard, he has the shield. Oh, actually, those bashes are kind of ridiculous now. Hal feeling confident to keep going. He can't really use the Time Walk, though, otherwise he could be screwed, and yeah, he will just use it to back off. FBZ. Oh, does get Playhard. Nice little rotation there from our Void Spirit.
Normally.
These are the kind of like little plays you need to make. Is mid bot lane, Palos being chased down now. Pulse Nova is going, but they've got skill laid down, and Zorain is not safe either as Palos is just swinging away. Actually, they'll just leave Zorain to be as he was getting a little bit low on the Sven. Of course, you are still expecting quite a bit of farm here on Palos before he gets too aggressive.
He's at 61-4 in terms of CS, 3 times more than Hao at this point, so almost reminiscent of Game 1 with the Gyrocopter. And if you don't manage to slow down the Sven, that will always stay true. Sven just clears out camps and waves a lot quicker. I think for YG, they're focusing their efforts top with Young PH's rotations, which is great. It's giving them something. I think you really need to keep an eye on that Sven as well.
Jump in, Young PH going to be there onto FBZ. They're trying to burst down Hao. Tornado is actually going to land from Yopaj. It's still not going to be enough though, and FBZ, he's the one to drop. Hao barely intact as bot lane. They're going to try and force another team fight. Palos will go for the rush onto Skill A, but he has no stun available. Yopaj though is going to show up, and with the cold snap, it should be enough to lock down the Earthshaker indefinitely. Yopaj will go ahead and take the kill on the Invoker. So there you go. 1 for 1 across the map, but it is still very favorable for YG.
Yeah, they're finding a lot more at this early game now, although down mid, Young PH.
Yeah, gets stunned up, and he's gone. He had no mana anyway, so he couldn't really step his way out or really use anything. Pretty unfortunate for him, but nice little rotation now from FBZ.
Yeah, it does pay off, kind of compensates for his death on the side lane. He's slow down that momentum on the Void Spirit. There is level 6 up on Hao. They could look to maybe try something with Chrono. His damage output in the Void isn't that great, but if you've got your supports around, you could maybe try to nuke someone down. FBZ's got to be slightly cautious here.
He's got to help around Hao.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Always trying to bait FBZ forward, and here comes the cavalry. Fisher is their skill lane, making sure the Meteor Hammer never comes off, but now Yopaj is going to show up with the play hard. They're going to jump right back in onto Lun. They'll get the Wyvern, it looks like, but Chrono is there, but the disarm is out. Play hard, making sure Hal can't get any damage off onto FBZ. Now, Young PH is going to join in FBZ. He pops the ulti, he gets the Void kill, but he does cost him his own life. Young PH, he's out of step charges, but there isn't enough around, I don't think, to deal with him on the Void Spirit, so instead they're going to go into Skill A.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
It looks like they've got the Shaker. Tornado will be enough. Young PH is still trying to catch out CTM, but without the Astral Step charges up, he can't really get much done.
Yeah, and in the end, you trade a core for a core with supports on hand as well, but that's a pause 1 for a pause 3. You're still buying space out for Palos to farm. Mask of Madness, he actually bypasses it, just goes straight for the Echo Saber. So you're kind of building up in the Sven already. He's hitting like a truck. You did lose your bot tier 1, but they are going in to look for the kill.
Yeah, I mean, Zorain's completely out of mana right now, but it won't matter because he's just outrunning FBZ at the moment, and FBZ is unable to get in range to get the Astral off. 2k net worth lead though, so I mean, it's kind of like you said earlier, YG's having a much closer game. Definitely great news for them. And Boom Esports, I mean, with this kind of draft, you are biding your time. Like, you do want a lot more farm in your Sven, and it is arguably a much greedier draft here for Boom Esports. But there is a timing, and I'd say it's around that 15 to 20 minute mark where you start to see it really come online. YG, they will have to make sure they are prepared for the storm that is incoming.
Yeah, I think what we want to see is more movement out from Zal'Rain. He does show up top. If they can find a team fight, transition to a push, that's where you start to feel stronger. You know, you're shutting down areas of the map. I think it's preferable to take the mid lane tier 1 with Lesh at this point, but...
Skill late. Gonna drop there to play hard, just rolling Thunder right through the Earthshaker. Top lane, Young PH gonna try and jump in, but he wanted CTM. And that's the one thing with this IO pick, because you've basically got to kill CTM, or you're not killing the real core that you wanted in the first place.
Yeah, if you don't kill the IO, killing anyone is just a tall order with the durability, with a relocate that the IO can provide, so you don't have the damage output yet to nuke down a hero with those buffs, so you have to go for that annoying ball first. Still, boom, they're just keeping stacks up, massive ancient stacks ready for Palos if he wants, and he does pop the ult. Tether's there, overcharges there. Really easy time to build that farm, and Palos, he's sitting at 7k gold, just about 3k above Hao right now, and that's massive.
Here we go, Lun going to be caught out, Play Hard trying to get the kill, but the Cold Embrace is going to buy a bit of time. Play Hard will have to leave, but Palos is here now. He gets the Winter Wyvern immediately, and it's onto the Astral Imprisonment. Zorain, he's going to be okay. It's like Boom Esports, they've seen enough. It'd be one kill going their way. Again, I think they need more time to be online anyway. So no real rush for them. They're just going to take what they can get and they'll back off to safety.
Yeah, they were scared off by the potential chrono coming out from Hal. So that does stop any further aggression from Boom. They respect the control coming out from YG, and I think that's fair. You don't want to give openings out to this team. They still have a lot of potential bouncing back through. It's a much closer game, as you've been pointing out. Boom, for the most part, they're just building up in Palos. Like, while all of that happens on the map, Palos just heads back top, takes a tier 1. He clears out the camps. He's not being stopped on the Sven, whereas you compare that to Hao's movement. He has to show mid. He has to put his body forward. There is a smoke here, though, from YG.
Not going to amount to much. Everyone's backed off. Young PH narrowly avoiding a media hammer coming in from FBZ.
Radiant are scanning.
Still trying to work towards that Kaya. Bit of a slow process here for our Void Spirit. And Palos is just well and truly pulling ahead of absolutely everyone here on this Sven. YG.
They're not really pressuring him. I think we saw that smoke commitment top just a bit too late. This time around, they split off. Curse is up.
There's CTM. We'll get deleted, so a pretty nice start there for Lund. But now the chase is on by Palos, and he's just going in alone. I say alone, but his team is right behind him. They are making their way over. It looks like they probably will only find the Wyvern. So a 1-for-1 trade. In the meantime, this will allow YG to start pressuring that mid-tier 1 tower. But there is going to be an immediate rotation in from Palos, who still has the God Strength, but is all alone. The Aether Remnant, though, will not connect, so Palos is still fine, but the Fissure does come in. Palos now, Split Earth is out. Echo Slam, they commit everything. They do eventually get the kill, but can they back out of here now? They've already lost Skill Lane. And it looks like they're also going to lose Zorain for that. Both kills going the way of FBZ. So still a great kill, but it is going to cost them that mid-tier 1 tower on top.
Yeah, it was good punishment on Palos. You know, it's a nice here to kill off. He had a massive streak. It did go to the Shaker, so it doesn't feel as great, but that does accelerate the blink timing. YG's looking for it to play with a slam. However, this does open up that push for FBZ. So they didn't manage to clean up the tier 1 of the Radiant side. Their dire tier 1 now is probably under threat with a Meteor Hammer from FBZ, and it's not going to take too long if he does commit. Looks like he is playing it safe. Side of YG are TPing back mid. They understand they can't give this tower away. Too important in terms of the map control and the space they need to enable Hal to build up in that Faceless Void. But Boom, they're also sending the heroes down to back up FBZ, so maybe they look for an opening. It looks like they are just posturing for now.
Yeah. Very, very slow game here from both teams. Now going to go for the imprisonment onto the Wyvern, but young PH is there in case he needs the backup. In fact, he's going to jump in. But if he wanted to check if there was a power rune that it was about to spawn up, but it does go top, where Zorain will be able to pick it up himself on the Leshrac. Again, neither team really looking to pressure yet.
It's like a spring. It's all wound up. You're just waiting for the tension to release. You do still have that lead on Boom, but it's been dropping down. Peaked at about 5k, down to 3k after a couple of those deaths. They are starting to build up in Faceless Void. Still lagging behind the Sven by 3k, so it's about the same difference as before. But it's not growing wider, although...
Yeah, Tornado out. They've got the Spirit Vessel there. Skill late. Just gets blown up by Yopaj. Palos now with the SNY up. Might feel a little bit more confident to start going for a fight as young PH. He's working towards his Aghanim Scepter, so the farm is certainly coming up in this Void. Palos, take the tier 1 mid tower, no problem. Young PH, there you go, stun. Oh man, although PH, he went right back into Palos. Zorain now, gonna show himself up on the Leshrac. Palos, still very healthy and still has CTM around. Lund's looking for a way to lock him down. In fact, they got the Split Earth there from Zorain. Now with the IO down, maybe they could force a big team fight here by YG, but it looks like they've had enough. They'll just go back, keep trying to farm up on this Void, and well, how slowly but surely is getting there.
He's got the Maelstrom, so his farming pace isn't too bad. I think going back to, when we were talking in the draft, it does feel like when you have the Void, there is some slight pressure to get even just single target pickoffs with Chrono. We haven't seen that committed yet from YG. I think it's just such a big spell, you don't want to just not use in the farm. You can get a couple of kills. Boom has been fairly split up, so there is room to punish here.
There is. Tornado, EMP going to be out on to Zorain. Rolling Thunder. He's never really committed. Play hard, he will finally get it out. Young PH almost gets hit, but barely avoids it, but there's your blink in. Play hard. He wanted the less track. They will get Zorain. Will cost them that tier 1 mid tower. It won't really matter though. We are about 18.5 minutes in now. Still, I mean, YG, they'll lose a hero. They'll get the objective. Immediately it's back to farming. They just want to be able to get those big items up. But I suppose for Boom Esports, they can force a Roshan, considering how passive this game has been.
Yeah, they do have to respect the Chrono and the Winter's Curse counterplay, but this should be a fairly fast Rosh with a Sven up with God's Strength, so not going to be too long. You also have to remember that Arcane Orb working on Roshan does make it a lot simpler as well. So, yeah, not enough time for YG to respond. You don't have the wards by the Rosh as well to watch this. And that is the first Aegis of the game going the way of FBZ. Seeing that, I guess they figure Palace is always going to have the protection of CTM. So it's more likely the OD is going to be vulnerable. And this should allow FBZ to get some good spell uses off. Now, the Ags is up on our Void Spirit, although... Oh, it's an illusion.
Rolling Thunder. Gonna be committed. Not a very high call. Oh, play hard. He ran right into them. No vision was up. Play hard had no idea what he was driving into. Oopsie. It happens.
Yeah. It's unfortunate for Play Hard. At the least, he's dying. He's a support Pango. So it's not the biggest loss for Boom. It's still a great pickup for YG. As they are playing the stall game to build up on that Faceless Void. Number 2 in net worth now. So it has paid off. How? Saving up for the BKB, which means that if he does use the Chrono, he doesn't have to worry about the Astral Imprisonment, at least on him. FBZ could still save out other heroes, but it does open up more opportunities for the Void to play aggressive and join his team afterwards. Still, BKB's up on Palace as well, so the control they have on the Sven, it boils down to just Chrono and Winter's Curse, but they will smoke.
They will. Execration, rather Boom Esports. His damn team tags never get changed. Play hard. He's going to rush forward and, well, he knocks down the Winter Wyvern. Won't really matter too much though, FBZ. Be able to catch him out and, well, they'll find the Wyvern kill. They might be able to just stick around and get this bottom tier 1 tower. Pretty easy tower for Boom Esports to take. It looks like they're just going to concentrate on just taking over this triangle for a bit as well. And again, YG, they're just kind of playing for the late game. They'll just keep hitting creeps and hope they can kind of outscale later on. Yopaj. Spirit Vessel out with the Cold Snap. Simulate, try and get himself out. There is a big relocate though, but is it going to matter? Palos, he needs a stun. And Young PH gets caught out with the Sunstrike to follow in. He is out of mana. He's gone. Can't even pop the regen rune. Is Hao now going to show up with Chrono? Palos immediately going to go for the fight. Still Hao looking for this Invoker. Yopaj just going to waste the whole BKB duration. Just run. Hao in the corner. He'll just TP back home. Palos might just find Zorain here on this Leshrac, and it looks like he will. Zorain going to try for the TP. He's going to make it out just barely. However, I can't say the same for Skule, who is going to drop it. I can say the same for Lun, unfortunately, on the Winter Wyvern.
Yeah, it's missed opportunity for YG. BKB reveal on your Void doesn't pan out. They still don't have a Chrono use. And boom, they widen the lead up to 8k, 19 to 9. The Ag's almost done for FBZ, so he's going to have charges on the Astral Imprisonment. Then with a Blink up, he can just kind of play Initiator now for his team. Top tier 2, not going to take too long. With the damage output of Palos and the Meteor Hammer on top. Backdoor will protect for a bit. The TPs are coming in. They've got that Blink on Shaker.
They
Could
do.
try for the slap.
Young PH going to be in. Palos, BKB TP out. Just fine. There's no way through it. Zorain, he'll keep going on to FBZ, but FBZ might be able to turn and just fight this. Zorain still trying. More help coming in. Yopaj, he's back in this in the fray. Young PH will move forward. Skill Lay has got the Echo Slam, and you've still got the Chrono from Hal. They're just not really finding the opportunity they're looking for on the side of YG. And I feel like you almost kind of just want to try to throw these ultis out.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
they've been holding them for a long time.
Minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been 23 minutes. We haven't seen a Chrono yet from Hal. Like, I swear, at this point, even a support kill is something that helps you out here in YG. Still, they're going to be smoked up on.
They are. They go. God's Strength is there, and immediately they go right after Hal. Chrono or not, if he's never going to throw it, they'll just make the jump in first. And that's a great tornado from Yopaj, just on point every single time as he gets Skill Lay. Lun, he might make it out here on the Winter Wyvern. Can't say the same for the rest though, as Zoror is going to try and fight Palos, but Palos is more than happy to oblige. With his BKB up, he'll just delete the Leshrac. And they've got another. They've got Lun. You might lose CTM, and you do. They even tried to force stop him, FBC. It didn't work out.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. They should find a top tier 2 now. Has been a lot of commitment. Oh, Young PH.
Yeah. Tornado is out. EMP's there. He will Astral step back the other way and is going to survive in the end. But they are just catching nobody.
Yeah, no punishment coming through from YG. And no chronos yet. That's the thing. Like, I think at this point you can't eye out for big chronos. You just look for one straggler, use it as a ganking spell, get that kill, and just rinse and repeat. And there are moments where you see Boom sort of splitting up, like right now. Yopaj is all solo down bot, while the action's breaking up top. They need to kind of make use of moments like that, get some kills on board, start trying to bounce back this game. They aren't too far behind on their big cores. Like, Hal and Young PH are keeping up with Yopaj. Palos is, of course, on a different level right now at 16k net worth. It's a Sven. They've allowed a Sven to free farm in the jungle to clear out massive stacks. And I think right now all that you can hope for is just killing off everyone else. You can handle the Invoker. You can handle the ODS we've seen a couple of times. You just need to look for that team fight. Maybe get some more aggressive vision out. Like, they've got a Roche ward by the ramp. They've got this ward in the forward part of their top jungle. And they've got a ramp ward on their triangle area. Maybe something deeper. Maybe lane wards to watch when someone does go out to farm. And just play with that, smoke against that, and start lining up from there.
I mean, I realize they're probably like just waiting the exact right time. I just need to see some ultis being thrown out here. Like, we're only seeing the curse being used here by our Wyvern. I need to see the Chrono, the Echo, something else. It's can be a little bit hard. You see, they understand if they lose a big team fight, the game might just be over. That's kind of how fast it can end, but you've got to try. Otherwise, Boom Esports are just eventually going to out-farm you and outpace you.
Oh yeah, I think we're kind of at that point in terms of out-farm. Just considering how far ahead Palos is, it's very hard for Void to catch up that way. You just don't have the natural wave clear, not the Sven has. Maelstrom helps, but it's still not comparable to the Sven right now. They just need to clump up and, as you said, use the spells. It's one thing to have the Void farming. It's another thing to never use Chrono, even for like one kill. You have to hammer in those kills.
Building up now. I mean, we're going for SNY, fair enough. Pretty standard kind of build up.
Oh. FBZ, he's got the Ags flying in. Shard next. So if it goes long enough, you're going to see it, Mike. You're going to see that Astral Imprisonment in the walk. There's a walk back to back where you can't target them, you can't do anything, you just watch it. That's it.
Sounds very balanced. Can't wait to see it, John. FBZ. Ags up. 2 charges of that Astral available. Time to move in, I think. The Iraean. Be very careful not to go on Palos right now. He's got plenty of help behind him. Here we go. God's strength is there. They look to blow up this Leshrac, but Zorain going to be saved by the Cold Embrace. Now the curse being committed, but nobody's around. It's just to hold down Palos, but he's going to be just fine. CTM will jump in to help out with the heals, but Astral is there as well. They will not be able to delete CTM, and now they've got young PH Hell. You've got to get the Chrono out, sir. He will throw it out and does kill CTM. That's something. Skill Lay, he's waiting for a big echo now. See what he can get done. Gonna just try and sneak up behind, play hard. Might have the vision, Skill Lay gets the Fissure up, but no, he doesn't go for the blink in. He will wait for the Fissure first, and they'll try to focus down FBZ. FBZ who'll pop the ulti, and there's the Echo Slam. It's only on one target, but they've got to get what they can. Just play hard. We'll take down the Earthshaker. Hell, I don't know if he can really fight. Not with Yopaj behind, play hard. And in the end, that'll be enough. Still a decent enough team fight for YG, and they needed something like that to happen. It's a lot of gold.
It's a successful high ground defense. Tier 3 holds on with a sliver of HP, 472 left. Next shove in from Boom should clean that up. Palos does hit his Satanic timing, so he's even safer in the front line. We did see the spells, and at least the Chrono kills off a support, so that's what you need. Just hit and run, take what you can, split up Boom, make it awkward for them to commit with numbers disadvantage, and hold out from there. Like, you've still got options to play. Your high ground defense is strong with Winter Wyvern and Faces Void. You just need to be willing to take some risks, and YG showing us that they can. So we'll see if they can line up another opportunity. No spells though.
Palos going to try and go for young PH, but he should be able to get himself out in time as Playhard could not close the gap with the Rolling Thunder. They are setting up for this top tier 2 tower. Boom Esports. Just delete that tier 2. I think Roshan will be the next objective. They've only got 13 seconds left for the Roshan to respawn up. YG, they'll have to try and fight this. They have Chrono in about 25. Curse is up. Echo going to be up in 30. So they will have some decent time to have all their abilities up and be able to try and counter out this Roshan. They do have the stronger Roche fight lineup. They're going to try and run in though. Palos, he's ready to break this smoke. They will scout out the Roche, but Palos, he's going to jump in. Young PH going to try and help, but they've got the Cataclysm up. Zorain is deleted. Hal, looking for a target. Going to go after Play Hard. Play Hard, just going to swashbuckle out. EMP and Tornado is there, and Hal has lost all his mana. Just all of it. Gone.
Never found a Chrono opportunity as well. Still CTM.
He's copying a bit of damage. It feels like he's just baiting for the team. As Palos is going to sneak in from the backside. They've got Lun trapped up. Zorain, he's going to get stunned by Playhard as he just chucks a U-turn now with the Pango. Back in on the curse. Is there from Lun, but he runs into the Rolling Thunder. He's got nowhere to go. He's going to drop to the Tornado. And Palos now, he'll get to work with the Satanic. Hell, he's going to try and fight. He does get the Pango, but that'll be about it looks like. Chrono's still up, by the way. They still have that to play with. The IO, let's get caught. CTM, he is going to die. In come the cavalry, though. A big Stormhammer and Palos. He just deletes young PH, and there goes Hal. Zorain, he'll be another victim of Palos. I'm not going to talk about the Chrono anymore, John. It never came out.
they're being really cautious. I think they're really trying to line up their spell uses, and they're not getting the opportunity just because Boom's position is really good. Tier 3 bot does fall. Lacti up and Palos Rax not long after. Disappointed here in FBZ. He opted for Blink first, so no shard. Maybe it's flying in with the Blink. I don't know if he had that much gold, and he didn't. So Blink, we're not going to see the casual walking away with Astral Imprisonment. Should be fine. If they do take Roshan number 2, they could just give him the shard and go from there.
I think that's the plan. They'll go for the lane of Barracks first. I mean, they are going to back off. I mean, very cautious play from Boom Esports. Not willing to run a risk when they don't have to. They'll back off to safety. Back to the Roshan, of course. It is the much smarter play, after all, as Roshan's doing the moonwalk for some reason. The running man, rather. Well, there you go. Roshan just going to get destroyed here by Boom Esports. No issues whatsoever. Who's the shard? They
There
do
you
give it
go.
to FBZ, it looks like. FBZ?
Yes.
Pick it up, FBZ. There you go.
Oh, I want to see it. I want to see the biggest nuisance in the game. This combination is just, maybe it's not strong. I think it's strong, but it's definitely annoying. I can guarantee you this is the worst spell to play against.
Skill late, and you get caught on the Earthshaker, but Yule Scepter from Zorain is going to save. However, you've got the Rolling Thunder in from Playhard, and he's got plenty of damage here. Look at the control. Skill late, eventually will drop and does go down. He does at least have buyback.
I think the reason we saw Boom back off a while ago was because again, the high ground fight of YG is strong. Winter's Curse, you've got great AoE with Leshrac, you've got Chronosphere, you've got the Echo Slam. So they are respecting that power from YG. They're not giving the openings out, and they're just playing it safe. They'll clear out the mid tier 2, and that should open up more potential. They should just push top, and it looks like they will shift their efforts there. YG have to be ready to defend this with their lives now.
I love the fact that CTM's the one holding the Aegis. Like, I guess he's actually the biggest threat in the team because he keeps everyone else alive. Palos, he's taking a lot of damage, but he knows he's going to get it back any moment now. There you go. Top rack's gone. If you want, you can just rotate to the mid lane where the last Rax is still standing. And I think that's exactly what they'll start doing. As Palos maybe just wants to wait out the God Strength to be off cooldown again. And it looks like he might. They do back off and start hitting creeps again. I suppose it's just perfectly fine though. It doesn't really need to rush. God Strength about 35 seconds away. There is going to be a quick smoke out from YG though. Make something work. Young PH going to jump in. They had vision over the Sven. Palos, he'll BKB up. How? You've still got the Chrono. He'll try and find a better Chrono opportunity in the backlines. But where are we going? FBZ, he's going to use that shard. There you go, John. He's just walking away. But he gets bashed up. He can't walk away in the end. He'll buy back, however. Palos, still trying to fight. Skill lane, he's dropped the Opage. And with CTM alive, it's going to be impossible to kill off this Sven. Zorain now completely out of mana. You've still got the Chrono up. There you go, Hal. He'll throw it out, but there's no damage. And FBZ, he's just there with the Astral. Though, the status resist will make it so Hal does get out of the Astral Imprisonment a lot faster. Will eventually be able to make his way out unless FBZ can get it. But he decided to force staff him instead. Meanwhile, the Earthshaker skill lane. Gonna drop once again at your Page, and that'll be a dieback on your Earthshaker.
The defense is a lot harder without the threat, without Echo Slam, and without the Fissure to hold back this fight. The Curse will be up with the Winter Wyvern when she does respawn, so there's still maybe a fight left. They have to line up their shots though.
Yep. Cataclysm to fly in. Double Cataclysm back from Yopage. Zorain. Cold Snap is just continuously locking him down. Now Void Spirit going to try and make the jump in on FBZ, but CTM just going to keep everything alive. Hal, he's trying, but again, he just has no damage. Everyone else is just kind of falling around him. And in the end, that'll be game 2, I think, going to the way of Boom Esports. A great debut here from Boom. Unfortunately for YG, I mean, you said it earlier, John. It's a very hard matchup for them to start off the Pro Series. Probably one of the hardest matchups you could have found. Unfortunately, they had to get through it in their first day.
Yeah, it's this is again one of the bigger tests for YG as a team. Boom, just they're veterans. They've been playing in the scene forever. They came from big teams before going into Boom. They've got the experience in hand. It looks like they've also got the coordination in hand as well. So they play completely perfectly in game one. Game two was a bit shakier. There were a couple of openings for YG, but they didn't manage to capitalize on this early control they had with Chrono, early team fight they had with a slam in the blink and Winter's Curse as well. And Boom just managed to play around it. Like, while YG sometimes got some chases off, Palos was free to clear out stacks, free to clear out a lane once more, as we saw in his gyrocopter in game one, and it just took over from there. So, great start for Boom. Looking like this lineup is revitalized now with 4 Filipino players. Boom now from boys out of Mumbai into boys out of Manila, I see chat saying. We'll see if that holds up. And YG shouldn't be disheartened. Like, this is a fairly fresh team. They've only had 1 season of DPC experience. This is a big test for them. And as you said, you have a lot to learn from games like this.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look, they're a young squad as well, right? Like, inexperienced, very young, plenty of time to grow and learn. And I'm sure over the Pro Series Season 8, we'll see them grow and grow. Again, very, very hard matchup. But we are going to head into our last series of the night. Motivate Trust are going to be up against Polaris, which is essentially the previous Adroit, plus I believe one different player. So it's basically Adroit plus one, like 4 players out of Adroit. We'll see how this one pans out. Very excited to see how Motivate and this new Polaris do try to make this series work. We are going to have a bit of a 15-minute break, and right after that break, we'll be back with game number 1 between Motivate Trust and Polaris. See you then.